It's the 8th day of September 2021. Good evening and welcome to News Watch on Hope TV, the station where you look and live. I'm Tess Njenga and my sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. We will be having an interview on the course of this bulletin with Chesubire Greg, who's the president, SME Founders Association, on the subject promoting entrepreneurship and innovation of small and mid-sized enterprises. But first, let's look at other news making headlines tonight. Well, we begin on a sad note where renowned fashionista, politician, and first Kenyan woman rally driver Orie Rogo Manduli has died at her riverside home in Nairobi. According to the family, she died this morning from an undisclosed illness. Manduli, who was known for her massive headscarves and African-style dressing, made history as the first Kenyan woman to participate in the East African Safari Rally in 1974 and 1975. A former Miss Kenya, Manduli was the first woman to chair the NGO Council. She was crowned Miss Kenya at the age of 16 while still in secondary school. Manduli was a trained teacher from Machakos Teachers Training College, but didn't practice the profession. Her first job was as a personal assistant to then Kenya Railways and Harbors Corporation General Manager PJ Mwangola in 1973. Manduli also served at the Coffee Board of Kenya as administrative manager, the National Council of Non-Governmental Organizations, International Council of Women's Council representatives to the United Nations Environment Program and Habitat. She is survived by her three daughters, Elizabeth, Alison, and Janice. Many leaders have sent out their condolences and tributes hailing her as a strong and fearless woman. Well, to the situation in Laikipia, fire, tension, and insecurity in Laikipia's Nature Conservancy will hopefully simmer down after Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natembeya promised to scale up operations in the area. The Laikipia violence since its onset left 8 people dead, 5 civilians, and 3 police officers. According to Natembeya, who spoke in Nakuru County, the bandits are clever and are using gaps that exist in the law to continue terrorizing Kenyans in the area, and are hopeful that the police are going to bring peace to the area in due time. Grace Wangoi has the details.
For families in the Olmoran area in Laikipia County, today is just another day to scamper for safety and flee their homes to neighboring safety zones like the Olmoran Township, Olmoran Catholic Church, and the Olmoran Police Station, which now hosts hundreds of residents, even as police operations continue on day 2. However, there is a glimpse of hope for residents as police operations have begun bearing fruit, albeit little at the moment. Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natembeya, who was the bearer of the good news, broke to press that no death has been reported since the police operation began on Tuesday.
From yesterday, we've not had any attack on homesteads or cattle rustling incidents. And we want to maintain this. We have also ensured that we protect our people who have been moved from their homes. We provide adequate security cover from the people who are now living from the Laikipia Nature Conservancy. They have got a tendency of harassing people as they live.
Even as he pronounced this, Natembeya pointed an accusing finger at local leaders, whom he says are fueling chaos experienced in the area for years now by ill-advising youth to take back their ancestral land.
So tunataka upige mtu akuajie shamba yake akuajie, uokilishe mifugo yako hapo. Na kuna kiongozi ambaye anaunga hiyo mkono. Kiongozi mtu anajiita kiongozi. So we're not fighting with those characters there. We are basically fighting na wale watu ambao wako nyuma ya hao watu. Yule ambaye kiongozi anataka kutafutia mtu bunduki, amtafutie risasi na ampatie motive. Sasa wanaambia Moran saizi kwamba it was during the time wale wengine walishindwa kuprotect mali yenu, mali ya jamii. Sasa nyinyi Morani wa sasa mpewa jukumu sasa kulinda jamii na kuregesha mali ambayo ilipotea. You are giving this character as a motive ya kuja kupiga watu. And yet mwenye anaongea namna anajua mbe shamba iko na title deed.
The frustrated commissioner, however, called on citizens to be patient with police as they continue with operations to bring the culprits to book.
Of course, we ask for some patience and understanding when it comes to prosecution of the individuals responsible. They are very, very clever. They use the law. They hide behind the law, the gaps in the law. They know that you cannot take somebody to court until evidence reaches a certain threshold. Then sure we can't reach that threshold. It just becomes hearsay evidence. I can never swear by the Bible that I know is doing this, but you can't take them to court. Because you can't go to court and swear by the Bible and think that's sufficient. You have to provide evidence.
Natembeya, however, did not comment on the arrest of Tiaty Member of Parliament William Kamket, as well as former Laikipia North MP Matthew Lempukel, in connection with the skirmishes. For now, what exists is the humanitarian crisis for residents whose houses were razed down and their livestock stolen. Their hope being that calm will be restored and that the government will come to their aid to help them rebuild. Grace Songoi for Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you, Grace. Meanwhile, Deputy President William Ruto has cautioned against the politicization of the skirmishes in Laikipia County. The DP, who spoke at his current residence where he hosted a delegation from Kisii County, called on the Inspector General of Police Hilary Mutyambai to discharge his duties impartially and steer clear of politics. South Mugirango MP Silvana Sosoro, on his part, urged security agencies conducting the operation to move with speed and quell violence in the area.
At the moment, citizens are not sure that security is going to be provided without political considerations. Then every citizen is going to step forward and support the security apparatus in Kenya. I want to ask citizens everywhere in Kenya to work with our security agencies, and I want to ask the security agencies to be impartial and to be professional and to avoid being politicized by this or that politician.
But we must demand that the security of this country be in the right places to make sure that they are defending the lives and properties of our fellow Kenyans. So when we do not see anything happening, na tunaona every day when we turn on our televisions, people dying, people being displaced, homesteads being burnt down, then we are wondering where the security apparatus in this country are.
Tafadhali, our security agencies waache tu kutumika kwa kupigana na William Ruto. Waketi sasa chini, ile mikutano ya asubuhi na jioni juu ya William Ruto ipungue. Sasa wakutane asubuhi na jioni kufanya juhudi ya kuhakikisha watu kule Laikipia wako safe.
To some politics, ODM party leader Raila Odinga has denied being the one behind the sour relationship experienced between President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto. Odinga says uniting with President Kenyatta only meant good for the country, dismissing frequent claims by Deputy President Ruto that the handshake derailed the development agenda that the Jubilee government promised Kenyans. Odinga was speaking as he welcomed defectors and returning party members back to ODM at the party headquarters in Nairobi. Dickens Luvanda now reports.
The Orange Democratic Movement party boss Raila Odinga has distanced himself from claims by Deputy President William Ruto that he is the one behind the derailed development delivery by the ruling Jubilee government.
Tukakubaliana ya kwamba wewe ukisimama pale na nimesimama pande hii, tushikane mkono, tunaweza kuunganisha Wakenya wewe kama kitu kimoja. Hii ni maana ya handshake.
Odinga says that in the Jubilee government's first term, President Uhuru Kenyatta was a cornered man due to undercutting from his deputy William Ruto.
Tukiungana pamoja kama Wakenya moja. Lakini wengine wanakuja tu mademo domukaya. ambaye haina maana, yeye mwenyewe anajua anadanganya na anadanganya tu hivyo namna hiyo. Mara nyingine wanasema ati sisi ni analog, ati wao ndio digitali, ati kila mtoto atapata laptop katika shule. Hiyo laptop umeona? Imeonekana imeonekane ati ma stadium zitajengwa kila mahali, kila county. Hizi stadium mliziona? Ndio sasa Uhuru unajaribu kuyajenga, manake sasa Uhuru amepata afueni. Nilikuta kama Uhuru alikuwa ameshikwa namna hii ko.
The former Prime Minister was speaking while welcoming back to the ODM party defectors who had left the party to Deputy President William Ruto's UDA party during the Kibera parliamentary by-election.
Hii ODM ni chama cha kitaifa, iko na kabila zote. Aseni niwaambie, wamama wetu wamesuguka, vijana wetu wamesuguka. Nataka kuuliza hivi, vijana wale ambapo mumesoma, ni wangapi wako na degree?
Katika chama cha ODM singatuki kabisa. Niko hapa kukaa na kuishi na kulala mpaka baba kalie hiyo kiti yake pale State House.
Hatutaki mambo ya Kibra, baba akuje campaigns mara 5-6 ya kwamba kuna mtu anasumbua Kibra. Tunataka hii mambo tuachiwe sisi kama vijana.
Tumetoka na kutangatanga. Tumetangatanga baba. Lakini sasa baba, sisi tunataka kupumzika.
At Orange House in Nairobi, Odinga's supporters rallied behind him, saying he ought to be the country's 5th president after the August 2022 polls, as they attacked Ruto's camp and his UDA party.
We need God to deliver baba. Tuweke maombi mbele. Kwa sababu this country of ours hakuna ambao ametenda mema kama baba. Na kuna wale ambao wanasema baba amemaliza, ni mzee, baba amefanya politics sangu tuwe wadogo.
Muachane na uongozi wa unafiki. UNDA ina uongozi wa unafiki na mkoro mrefu wa kunyakua mali.
Dickens Luvanda, Hope TV News Watch.
Much appreciated, Dickens, for that report. Now, health union leaders have called on the government to further scale up efforts to sensitize Kenyans on the benefits of COVID-19 vaccination. KMPDU Secretary General Dabji Atela and KUCO Secretary General George Gibore are of the opinion that it is the responsibility of the Ministry of Health to ensure all Kenyans are vaccinated. The union leaders are now demanding the government to speed up the vaccination exercise.
In the inception of the COVID-19, we have been in the forefront to advocate that indeed the main way of fighting any pandemic is to ensure that at least the number, the expected number of Kenyan have been vaccinated. That's the highest number possible. And indeed, you have seen most of the country which are doing very well, especially the developed country, they are already doing their second round. And they employed most of these vaccine, including the one that now we have received in our country, AstraZeneca, Moderna, Pfizer, and many others that we have not been able to mention, and they were able to achieve what they intended, provided these vaccinations have been actually approved.
Healthcare workers are in the forefront to advocating for Kenyans to be vaccinated because they understand the value of the vaccine. And therefore, even what happened in Ruai Hospital recently, we really condemned the ministry and the KMPDC for trying to close that particular facility. Because with the vaccines, we need to have them available anywhere, in the field, in the hospitals, in the kindergarten, so that most of the family members, most of the Kenyans get vaccinated. So that even the teachers in the kindergartens, people in the schools, people in the churches, everywhere should be vaccinated. And for this to happen, we must have a bigger rollout of vaccine doses in the country. Yes.
On to our interview segment for the night, where we are tackling the topic promoting entrepreneurship and innovative small and mid-sized enterprises, that is SMEs. Joining us via Zoom is Chesubire Greg, who is president of SME Founders Association. Welcome, Chesubire.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
Thank you for making time for us. Please start by telling us what SME Founders Association is all about.
So the SME Founders Association is really the home of entrepreneurs and SMEs. We seek to foster the creation of decent and sustainable work for all. And this is done through creating an enabling and sustainable business environment for small and growing business leaders. We believe that when SMEs have access to capital, to markets, to networks, and opportunities to affordable work teams, then they're able to grow and find the right development solutions to thrive and pass, that mark of most SMEs die in the first 5 years. They pass that mark and they're sustainable. So that's what we do as SFA.
So how do you cultivate the creation of an enabling and sustainable environment for small and growing businesses?
So there are multiple ways, but the biggest one is access, right? So are people able to access the right information? Are they able to access the right knowledge and learning partners? Are they able to access capital? Are they able to test their ideas and grow? Are they also able to just understand what their market needs and then provide a solution for the market? When we think about enabling environments, many times we talk about things like access to loans, but if I don't have system structures or a good product, a loan won't help me. So we have to do the whole shoot. Product development, access to capital, access to markets, to opportunities, and all that in one, and then provide the environment.
Thank you. COVID-19 has changed the way we conduct business. In fact, it has escalated unforeseen growth in the digital online e-commerce sector. And it seems this sector has boomed amidst the COVID-19 crisis. What's your take on this surge and the accelerated digital transformation?
So allow me to debunk that. Growth in the digital space was coming, pandemic or not. Right? If we're watching global trends, it was clear that the physical locations of business and the 9-to-5 work had actually been put on notice. So all the pandemic did was to accelerate the shift into the digital spaces. Many of us on this side of the world thought we had more time to go digital. And digital is more than just going onto social media and doing your content, right? But what the pandemic did, when you and I cannot meet, when I can't come to your shop to buy, when I can't sit in a meeting with somebody, now businesses had to really think, how do we transfer ourselves onto a platform that we can still do business? At the beginning, 90% of us were at home looking around and wondering, how will we feed our people? And then we began doing the whole thing of the digital conversion. So COVID simply accelerated it, but the digital transformation was on the cards. It was coming, and it was coming faster than most of us thought it was.
Okay, I think I agree with you on that. Working capital has been a stumbling block to young entrepreneurs who want to venture into business. How can they get access to friendly working capital and investment opportunities?
So when you start a business, sometimes capital is the first thing to do, but then it's not always the most important. You see, to access capital, you need a track record. You need to be able to guarantee to pay it back. You need discipline to do the business. So working capital to the youth is indeed a problem because they cannot prove that they will continue to do the business. Let me give an example. It takes at least 15 to 18 months to test an idea for viability. So COVID has happened. I've started a business. We should be just at the end of the testing phase, right? So then I come and I start month one and I go to the bank for money, or I go to my mom for money, or I go to somebody else for money. They will ask me, how much business have you done? What are your projections? How will you pay it back? I don't know. I've never done this before. So the challenge really for me, even before we get to working capital, is the ability to prove and to understand as an entrepreneur how I can make that money back and pay the person, because capital is not free. It has to be paid back. So the challenge, I think, is the young people need to begin to work at building their track record, have proof that I have made sales. As an older business owner, I will put money into a business that has proven that it can make money. So then those are the stumbling blocks, as opposed to finding people who will give us free cash, low interest cash. Can we actually prove that business should be given to us and money should be given to us?
Okay, I hear you. Now, young people that were able to go digital with their businesses seem to have mitigated the economic downturn by the pandemic. How would you analyze the performance?
I think those who've been able to go digital have done very well. They have been able to make ends meet. Some of them have been able to keep stocks. But I dare say that probably 50% are really struggling, because the online space demands diligence, it demands commitment, it demands faithfulness to your work. So let me give an example. You can't be putting pictures on Instagram that you sell a certain product, but you only have 2 pieces. What happens if 15 people order today and you cannot deliver? So then you need to have, what the ones who have thrived are the ones who figured out how to keep their stocks in place, how to deliver their services on time. And I'll be honest, many of them are frustrated because it's harder work than they thought, Being digital, putting a picture on Instagram isn't an automatic sale. But the ones who have learned to connect with their audiences, the ones who have learned to give feedback, to respond to comments, not to catch feelings when people say your product was bad or I didn't like it, those are the ones who have thrived. And I would conservatively say maybe 30% will continue to thrive unless everybody does those shifts to focus on the customer. Then they will not survive. But by and large, the ones who have gone online with a plan have really done well.
You're right. What are some of the policies that govern digital businesses, if any, and how can the government assist?
Wow. You know that digital tax? That's a big one. How can government assist? Infrastructure. You see, when I'm going digital, yes, there's a private company that provides the connectivity, but that's largely for the urban, right? What about the young person in Mandera who wants to start an online business because it will just help him or her do better? Do we have the infrastructure to get them the right internet stable connections, right? How do they access their markets? Are the roads good? Because some of us are moving products, right?
I need to listen to her.
Is the postal service working if people still use post to send stuff? I know a lot of people, like when I buy things from suppliers in Nakuru, they put it on Molo Line or something. Are the roads good? You see, if government focuses on infrastructure and then on the facilitation for credit and as capacity building, you can't go wrong with training your people. The policies that we would need is just to make business easier. There are so many barriers of entry. A lot of people refuse to formalize their businesses because it's too much headache. KRA will be on my back, Kajo is on my back, we have witch tax. I mean, there are too many things in there. So if we had infrastructure sorted out, as well as central portals of information where we can find out exactly what we need for everything, and then the number of licenses we need, if we could have that sorted out to one central portal, that will make it distinctively easier, not just for the youth, but for all businesses to thrive.
What would you advise an aspiring online entrepreneur on what is needed to start a business venture, analyze the opportunities and risks?
Wow. First of all, it starts with the person. You see, when I go into business with something I am passionate about, when the valley hits, I'm good to go. I have the drive to keep going. When you think about a business, you don't start today and get that 100,000 contract tomorrow. No, you build progressively. So am I passionate about it? What do I have within me? Number two, who needs what I have, right? And are they willing and able to pay for it? Many of us start businesses around what we think people need, not according to what people actually need. So when you're analyzing the opportunity, you're looking at yourself and what you have and what you can do, and you're looking at the market, what they need, and do they have the capacity to buy the thing you have, right? When you do that, you have to look at your ability to stay the course. Sometimes you buy something from somebody and 8 months later, they're like, "Yo, betara nilifunga, nilichoka." Why? Why were you in business in the first place? Okay? Be prepared for challenges. That's as you're analyzing the opportunities, because you will find times when you don't have income, when you don't have sales. And if you don't have sales, one of the things that I would ask people to understand, for every sale you close, you have been talking to at least 15 other people. So if I want 20 clients, I need to do 20 times 15 to know the number of people I will be talking to and to build my track record. You see, when you're going online, it's about track record. If you don't deliver on time, we will talk online. If you deliver a bad product, we'll talk online. An unhappy client talks to 7 to 10 people. So when somebody comes and they're unhappy, deal with that person. When there's a bad review on your page, have a conversation with that person. Don't delete it. You delete, we judge you, right? So those, for me, are the things you're looking at. What do you have? What does your audience need? Is your audience able to pay for it? Do you have the capacity to stay? And the biggest risk is you put yourself out and people don't like what you have. Don't stop. Rethink. We need to understand, when you solve a problem, not the problem you think in your head, a true existing problem, in time money follows you. So if I sold lipstick today and it didn't work, is it the quality of the lipstick I have? Is it that I don't wear makeup so people don't trust me? Is it that I don't know how to sell lipstick? So what do I know how to sell? Maybe I can sell stories. Let me go to the corner and sell stories. And the final thing, which is both a risk and a benefit, is you must keep iterating your product. You must keep adjusting to your market forever. Don't think you'll adjust for year 1, year 2. You will adjust through the whole lifespan of your business. When you have those things in mind, nothing will stop you. You will realize, I can do it, I must change. And at SFA, we've done that a lot. Over the last 18 months, we have shifted products a lot of times, not changing the product, but changing the delivery model of the product. Because when our partners tell us this is working and this is not working, we shift to that.
Give us your final remarks. How can an individual or company maximize profits online?
Let me put a disclaimer there first. Maximizing profits is online and offline. The principles are the same. Good product, because good product means you will have sales over time. You also need to have your pricing right. Don't price too low that we doubt you, or too high that you think you're crazy. And what many of us do, we price too low. When you're pricing, ensure that all your costs are covered. So sometimes somebody could be doing grocery business, and they cater for the cost of the banana, but they don't calculate the cost of getting the banana to their shop. So when they tell the client, because that guy next door is selling at 10 bob, they come in and sell at 5 bob, they don't realize that the guy next door has calculated his electricity, his airtime, his transport into the cost of that banana, right? So when you're looking at maximizing profits, you must look at managing your costs and a decent price. Because profit is really the difference between your costs and what you sell it for. So when you're in the online space, do you have to have, if it's a product, do you have to do deliveries? Don't forget to charge for that. Do you need to book an online space? Don't forget to calculate that. The maximization of profit is always around volumes sold and around managing your costs. Do not keep your costs too low that you shortchange people or do not miss out things in the process. Again, I said it earlier, consistency. I buy my shoes online. I have bought from the same shop for more than 5 years. Why? They now understand my foot. They take criticism when I give it to them. They have consistent product. When they show you a shoe online, that is the shoe that comes to you. So then it's all about your packaging, you're dealing with your customers, managing your costs, and then charging a fair price.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chesubire Greg, for your insights on promoting entrepreneurship and innovative small and mid-sized enterprises. Much appreciated.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And on that note, let's take our first commercial break on News Watch tonight. We'll be back with much more news.
Ngarishan Optiven. Guess what? It's just about the right time to build your dream home. At the Garden of Joy by Optiven. It comes with Maram roads, solar street lights, water piping along the mains, children play area, and a jogging truck. Get your value-added plot at only 1.495 million Kenyan shillings cash with flexible installment options for up to 12 months. Deposit 995,000 Kenya shillings and get a free washing machine for your home. Ngarishana Optiven. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Inspiring possibilities with Optiven.
This week on Turning Point by Dr. David Jeremiah.
We are more than conquerors. And Paul's not talking here about something that will happen to us. He's talking about things that are happening to us right now. In the midst of these things, we are more than conquerors. And we're not merely conquerors. We're not just neutralizing the things that happen to us. Paul says, no, we're overcoming them. We're overwhelming them. More than conquerors, so that whether it's death or life or angels or principalities or things present or things to come, whatever it is that's going on in our life, because of God's love for us, we can overcome that. We are more than conquerors. We are overcomers.
That's This Week on Turning Point by Dr. David Jeremiah.
A very warm welcome back. Taking a look at COVID-19 statistics today, 649 people have tested positive for the disease from a sample size of 7,704 tested in the last 24 hours. Total confirmed positive cases are now 241,783, and cumulative tests so far conducted are 2,429,337. The positivity rate is now at 8.4%. Fortunately, 333 patients have recovered from COVID-19, and total recoveries now stand at 230,095. Sadly, 30 patients have succumbed to the disease, all of them being late deaths reported after conducting facility record audits in July, August, and September. This now pushes the cumulative fatalities to 4,830. 1,790 patients are currently admitted in various health facilities countrywide, while 4,419 are under the home-based isolation and care program. 162 patients are in ICU, 120 of whom are on ventilatory support and 38 on supplemental oxygen. 4 patients are under observation. Moving on, Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru now says it will be difficult for her to retain her seat on the Jubilee Party ticket if elections are held today. The governor now says she will have to go back to the people, who will tell her the political direction to take. Waiguru now says the Mount Kenya region was never behind the push for constitutional amendments through the BBI bill. Dolly Mwirigi tells us more.
Jubilee Party is now structurally dead, as many of President Uhuru Kenyatta's supporters are not sure whether to vie under the party ahead of next year's polls. Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru is now uncertain about the party. Waiguru is waiting on her political direction.
I am listening to the people on the ground. I am listening very keenly. And I will go with the people's decision. So if the people tell me, go this way, because they're the ones who ultimately will elect me, I will have to respect the will of the people.
The county boss maintained that calls for unity of the region is meant to secure interests of the region ahead of the 2022 general elections, urging the leaders to keep the political differences aside and take a common stand on issues of development.
It's very important that we as leaders of Mount Kenya speak in one voice, whichever side we end up, because it is important that we negotiate for the people of Mount Kenya. Whoever we are going to support for the presidential seat, we want to know where our people will get jobs. We want to know which jobs there will be. We want to know which seats we will get in cabinet. We want to know all the benefits. The coffee, tea, what will happen to our markets, the roads that are already being done and are not completed, where is the signature, so that we agree on how our people will be served. That's the only interest we have.
However, Waiguru has called for an all-county leaders meeting ahead of President Uhuru Kenyatta's visit for Mashujaa celebration on October 20th, saying that the county is ready to host the Mashujaa event and stressed the need for leaders from the area to speak in one voice on matters of development during the president visit. She urged the leaders to bury their political differences for the sake of the unity during the national celebration to be held at Wanguru Stadium. The governor termed hosting of the event in the county as a great honor to the area resident, saying that people reap huge benefits that comes with such national occasions. Dolly Mwirigi for Hope TV News Watch.
Thank you, Dolly, for that report. Over 600 households have been demolished and more than 2,500 people left homeless at Maungu, Voi sub-county. The residents were served with eviction notice in July, but they acquired court orders to stop the process, claiming they had stayed for over 20 years. Some of the residents managed to secure their items before their houses were demolished by the bulldozer.
Asubuhi tunashangaa, tunaambiwa ya kwamba matinga ndo haya yanakuja. Tumeona KWS imekuja na kanta nzima. Sasa tunaambiwa tutoke. Sasa tunashangaa, tunaambiwa tutoke tuende wapi? Tuko na watoto hata hawajaenda shuleni. Sasa sisi tumeshangaa, tuko hapa tumebaki tu, tunashindwa tutaenda wapi.
Na kama kwa mrefu sana. Serikali kama imeamua kitungunjua, bwana nyumba yote, hata mtu amejenga nyumba moja, bwana hakubombolea mtu na saa hii kijana kwa first of all iko form 3. Hawa hana macho, hana masikio. Saa hii naanza kubombolea nini? Wala ambaye amechukua haki yetu. Hautakaa.
Notice ilikuja ya kusema ya kwamba pending hearing. Sisi na KWS tupaondoke hapa. Lakini sisi pamoja na wakili wetu tulienda tukaweka stay order ya kwamba tuendelee kukaa, na mahakama ikatukubalia na tukapewa tarehe ya kesi. Na kesi ilikuwa ishatayarishwa kusikilizwa na judge anaitwa Justice J.C. Lesit. Kesi hata haijaanza wameanza kutubomolea. So tunauliza, hii ni haki kweli?
Sasa tumekuwa pale, kuna crisis. Watu hawajui watafanya nini, wataenda upande gani, lakini watu wamekuwa rendered homeless asubuhi ya leo. Kitu ambacho ningesema, kwa sababu ya kama tunataka tupunguze human wildlife conflict ambayo inaendelea hapa kwetu Taita Taveta, jambo lingekuwa la busara zaidi ni kuangalia tungeweza kusongeza kidogo mpaka chini ili kuwe na buffer zone like 2 kilometers inside, wananchi wabaki one side 1 kilometer na upande ule mwingine kuwe kwamba ni kwa wanyama.
Residents within the semi-arid areas of the eastern region have been advised to embrace coping mechanisms with the changing climates, with the Meteorological Department warning of a La Nina from October. Herders have been advised to dispose of their animals before the drought strikes further and purchase later. Eastern Region Coordinator Isaiah Nakoru also noted that the grazing zones had reduced gradually with the increase in population and settlement. He added that the government, through the Ministry of Devolution, was mapping out areas affected to offer the necessary support to the people of Upper and Lower Eastern that receive low rainfall.
Ningependa pia kuhimiza wafugaji. Wakati kuna ukame, wakati wanaona ukame umekaribia, jaribu kuuza mifuko na uweke pesa. Wakati inanyesha wanunue. Kwa sababu mifuko tukiweka na tunawapoteza, inakuwa tena ni hasara. Wengine wanaweka ng'ombe for prestige. Nafikiri haya ndio mambo ambayo yamepitwa na wakati. Tuweze kuweka mifuko kwa sababu capacity, ya hiyo holding capacity. Wakati mwingine mifuko wamekuwa wengi na settlements inaanza tena kutokezea. Kwa hivyo ile area malisho yanaendelea tena kupungua kwa sababu watu wanaanza kusettle. Kwa hivyo lazima pia tukeuke na tubadilike kulingana na vile mambo yako. Kwa sababu area haiwezi kupanuka, lakini population ama idadi ya watu inaendelea kupanuka, watu wanaendelea kuwa na settlements. Kwa hivyo areas ambazo zilikuwa ni mahali pa kulisha mifugo inaendelea kupungua.
The business community and opinion leaders in Nakuru have warned that the current political temperatures risk sliding the nation to violence. They have called on the political class to exercise tolerance ahead of next year's polls. They said political greed among the leaders was destroying the hard-earned peace in the country, saying they need to join hands and embrace peace. They now want the president to take charge, saying Kenyans are unsure if their businesses would survive the uncertainty. They also asked the president to take charge of his government and bring in people who will steer his Big Four agenda.
We need peace in this country more than any other thing. I thought it ingekuwa rahisi kwa nchi viongozi hawa washikane mkono as a way of cohesing Kenyans. For the last 10 years, more than 10 years we have lived in peace. Lakini tension ya siasa ile inaendelea saa hii, ninaona inatia sisi wasiwasi sana kama wa Kenya, especially as ordinary citizen. Aswa kama saa hii vile maneno yanafanyika Laikipia, ningetaka serikali wachukue chukumu na wadeal na wa bandits. Serikali wako na uwezo. Na hiyo, that is part of what is causing trouble. Political temperature is causing tension in the whole country for no any apparent reason.
It's a high time for you as a president to stop these political things and do reshuffle. Bring about people that can help you implement Agenda 4. There are a number of things which are not coming well, especially on the political class. We see tear gas all over. A number of people are being tear gassed. Mine is simple. Allow everybody who has divergent opinion to air their views and opinion. But let us stick to COVID regulations, because COVID is a reality. And Kenyans are dying. And when we congregate people, like what we are seeing going around the country, we are super spreading coronavirus. Are you leading, or you are leading people who are going to die tomorrow?
Let us now take our second commercial break on News Watch tonight. We'll be back with business and sports news.
Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content, of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Only God can turn a mess into a message.
I have a boy on a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I'm still preaching on the pulpit.
Amen.
Niliona mguu ya nyuma inakuja tu kunikanyaga, imenilenga tu kwa tumbo. Nikaitana tu Jesus.
I got tired of working with the x-ray papers, and one day I just woke up and decided to burn them.
A test into a testimony.
The whole community didn't want to hear that anybody is born again. Excommunicated straight.
Bila Yesu hakuna njia.
Join Sharon Naitore Wangenye on Testify.
Katika hiyo harakati hiyo spirit ikakemewa, mimi nimeona Yesu Kristo namna hii. Kwa msalaba. Opa. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Every Thursday at 8 p.m. for a moment to grow your faith some more.
Let's continue with business. Kenya Revenue Authority officers have arrested 3 people and seized 43 containers of hides and skins at the port of Mombasa. KRA officers, together with a multi-agent team at the port of Mombasa conducting the verification, say they were loaded with hides and skins worth approximately 112 million instead of mats as declared in customs entries headed to the United States of America and Europe. Kenya Revenue Authority Southern Regional Coordinator Joseph Tonui said the government would have lost approximately 75 million Kenya shillings in revenue should the exporters have managed to sneak the hides and skins out of the port for exportation.
Legitimate business, illicit trade, people who are engaging in tax evasion. We have a very strong enforcement team at the port of Mombasa. And those who are cheating, they will be nabbed. So I want to confirm that some arrests have been made. Actually, there are 3. Some of them are the owners, clearing agents, and 1 broker. In terms of the assessment, in terms of taxes forgone, the estimate is about 75 million for the 43 containers.
And Automobile Association of Kenya has embarked on a pedestrian visibility campaign to promote road safety by distributing reflective sashes targeting over 20,000 school children across the 47 counties. The campaign that runs till December 2021 seeks to raise motorists' awareness about pedestrian visibility on the road. Africa has the highest rate of road traffic deaths, with 40% concerning pedestrians and with more than half of all road traffic deaths among vulnerable road users, pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists. In addition, the National Transport and Safety Authority reveals that child and teenage victims of road accidents make up 21% of road carnage victims in Kenya. Apart from pedestrian visibility, the campaign also seeks to drive mutual respect between motorists and pedestrians on the road.
We are running a campaign called I See You. This is a road safety campaign allowed the school children. You do realize that when schools are open and children are going to school, some of them go very early in the morning, go to school very early in the morning, and some of them are not seen. And you remember that we have motorists on the way, we have bodabodas on the way, and so we want our kids to be seen when they are going to school. And so this campaign is actually about being seen and seeing yourself. And so we are giving sachets to school kids just to ensure that when they are going to school, they are wearing something that is reflective and so that they can be seen. It's part of our bigger agenda together with FIA. FIA is a global organization that brings the AA together. We have children all across the country in all the 47 counties. And so this campaign is running in the 47 counties that we have. We have our branches in the 34 branches that we have, and even some areas where we don't have branches, we're still running this campaign. And so you find our staff in various schools doing this campaign and talking to the children. We have a program where first of all we talk to the children, talk to them about road safety, how to travel to school, how to close roads, and even the teachers. We train the teachers in terms of the road safety. We also have a campaign where we are also training the bus drivers, and so that as they are picking the kids from the various homes and taking them to school, then they know how to manage them. They know how to take care of them and even how to manage their expectations. So this campaign will be running from now until end of December, and we expect to reach as many learners countrywide as possible.
And in sports, the FIFA Secretary General Fatma Samora has arrived in the country for a two-day working tour. The Secretary General is expected to grace Thursday's final of the CAF Women's Championship League CECAFA regional qualifiers, pitting Kenya's Vihiga Queens and Ethiopia Commercial Bank. Samora arrived in Nairobi from South Africa, where she attended the COSAFA finals of the same qualifiers, accompanied by FIFA's chief women's football officer, Sarai Beerman. The Secretary General was welcomed to the country by Football Kenya Federation President Nick Mwendwa and Chief Executive Officer Barry Otieno, and is expected to hold talks with the football leadership in the country as well as government officials. This is Samora's first visit to Kenya since her appointment to the position in 2016. And Vihiga United has intensified preparations ahead of Sunday's promotion playoff first leg against Police FC at Mumias Complex. The playoff first leg is slated for this Sunday, with a second scheduled for next Sunday. Both sides are looking to gain promotion to the Football Kenya Federation Premier League, with the new season set to kick off on the 25th of this month. Vihiga United finished 16th in the FKPPL Team 2020-2021 season, while Police were third in the National Super League behind champions Talanta and Vihiga Bullets, who automatically gained promotion to the top flight league. Well, that's all we had for you on Newswatch tonight. On behalf of the team, thank you for watching. I'm Tess Njenga, and my sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. See you tomorrow, God willing. Have a good night and God bless you. We'll leave you with tomorrow's weather forecast.